myself, Adam Smith, Spencer, Oliver and John Rawling will get stuck into some boxing conversation. There's lots to be talking about right now, with an exciting schedule and calendar ahead of us throughout the month of February, heading on towards March. Lots to get stuck into. One of the rumours that is currently going around, gentlemen, I'm sure you've seen this week, is that they are looking to try and finalise the rematch of Johnny Fisher, Dave Allen, Part 2, looking for May, or to Arena a target there. Is that the right decision? Is it the right fight to be happening next, do you think, Adam?
100%. Ringside in Saudi, I really felt for David Allen, or Dave Allen, and he's just been such a cold character in boxing, a wonderful figure on the scene, really, Adam, for so long, and he's promised so much, delivered actually, and he'll be honest about this, very little, but he did in Saudi just before Christmas. I thought he won the fight. I thought Johnny was brave. I thought it was a learning experience for Fisher. Nothing wrong with that, but I thought the wrong guy got the decision, and I think it's a rematch that should happen. And with Johnny Fisher's army and his popularity and the lovability factor about both guys, let's see it happen again. Absolutely right.
And on British soil as well, because as you've just said, they've both got great armies of fight fans that I think will come out. And I know that Eddie Hearn's been speaking about the O2. It's a big old arena, that, for a fight that maybe doesn't have a trinket on it, but I genuinely think it works there.
Adam, I taught my daughter to the copper box when Johnny Fisher, when he was last here.
Copper Bosch.
It was the copper Bosch, and he was going to have the Bosch plane, wasn't he, out to Saudi? It was unreal. I mean, she couldn't believe it. The amount of people that were coming to see one man, and he's a great guy. Exeter University rugby. You know, first in history or whatever, he got 2-1. It's a brilliant story. His dad's absolute lunatic, but he's funny and he's arguing with Spencer, and I love it. And it's all about storytelling of this business and about characters. And Johnny Fisher and Dave Allen are two of the best we've got. It was a good fight out there. Yes. It was one that was controversial. We're going to have it again, and it's rightfully on British soil.
I think, listen, I don't want to speak for you, Spencer, but whenever you do, obviously, make a reference to the results of a fight, it is always about the judges that are ringside and not the fighters that are in the ring. The boys turned up, they had their fight, and I think the majority of people that watch that fight do believe that because of the knockdown, Dave Allen maybe should have had his hand raised.
I totally agree, yeah, Dave Allen should have had his hand raised, and I stand by that, you know, and you're right, it's not a personal attack on Johnny, or Johnny Fisher Senior, who we think are beautiful people, and as Adam Smith just pointed out, they built up a tremendous brand and a huge legion of fans that follow them around, and you can understand why they do that. I was invited to their house to have one of the Chineses with Gareth A. Davis. What a wacky night that was. Can't go into that too much. That was a little bit nuts. There was so much Chinese there, you wouldn't believe it, but they're a lovely family. But as it stands, I felt that he lost the decision. He lost the fight. But what he did do is he showed lots of character. And he's at the beginning of his career, and this is all about development. And those fights, you know, mould you in the fighter that you're going to become. So listen, don't take it personally. Accept what we've said. We thought he won. The majority of people thought he lost, sorry. We all thought he lost. Get on with it, brush it down, we get the rematch, thank God. O2 Arena, thank you very much, because we all want to see it. It'll be absolutely nuts in there, and he gets to right the wrongs of the last fight.
Are you friends again? Have you been back for a Chinese or not?
No, I haven't had a Chinese, mate. Nothing. Not a chicken wing, not a rib, nothing. No egg fried rice.
Maybe in the build-up to the fight. But I think, listen, I think it is the right fight, because they did give us a fantastic knockout in Riyadh. I think Johnny did take those 4 rounds until he ended up getting clipped by Dave Allen, who dominated between 5 and 9, and then Johnny did come on strong at the back end. But because of the controversy always sells, doesn't it? And I think these two guys absolutely should be getting back in the ring. So fingers crossed they can get that over the line and get that made, Spence.
It's a great fight as well. You know, stylistically, it was a great fight. Both guys went out there, and this is prize fighting. This is what all these people are here tonight for. You know, we just witnessed a heavyweight fight there that was not particularly good, wasn't very entertaining to watch. What we saw out there in Saudi was entertainment. Both guys give us what we wanted to see. Brilliant fight. The outcome was the outcome. Controversies caused the rematches. We got it with George Groves and Cole Frotch. That's how boxing come back to stadiums. We got that at Wembley. We saw what happened there. You know, I think that it's good for the sport of boxing that we get this fight on. I'm so pleased it's happening.
Characters and rivalries as well. And I tell you what, they've got a lovely team, Mark Tibbs, Johnny Fisher, great story. But Dave Allen, since he's been with Jamie Moore,
brilliant,
has looked fitter and he's got his mojo back, and that's fabulous to see. So hats off to Jamie and Nigel as well.
Well, that's rumoured for May time, Fisher versus Allen. There's a lot of stuff that's already booked, and we're going to be getting in the not-too-distant future. Obviously, Feb 22nd, we're all extremely excited about what is coming up there. I'm loving the face-offs that they've been having recently, you know, where they sit down and do the gloves are off type style stuff between Dubois and Parker. Fascinated by that fight. Obviously, the main event is Viterbi and Bivol, the rematch of that, but the card itself, I mean, you two gentlemen have been covering boxing for a very long time, right? February 22nd, the best of a lifetime, definitely for me. I mean, you've been to a lot, Mr. Smith.
I spent most of my Christmas going through history, going through the old cards. Don King giving us 4 or 5 world title fights, but most of them pretty one-sided. Frank Warren's big shows, Eddie Hearn's, Bob Arum's, so many great cards through boxing history. But I don't think there's been a better one than February the 22nd. From top to bottom, absolutely fabulous matchups. World titles, unbeaten records, you've got heavyweights, you've got pick'ems everywhere. It's just astonishing what Turki Al-Sheikh has done to bring it all together. I cannot wait to be out there. It's brilliant for boxing, and most importantly, it's brilliant for the fighters getting the opportunities and getting well paid.
Yeah, no, listen, absolutely. Everybody wants to see fighters getting well recompensed, but I think purely from a selfish point of view, as a fan, I want to see the best fights, and the best fights absolutely are being thrown in on that card, and we're seeing a lot more of that now, aren't we? It feels like once every 4, once every 6 weeks, there's a big card for us to get excited about, which gets the juices flowing, which puts boxing on those back pages and gets the casual fan interested in the game.
Listen, it's a changing of the times, and I think that Turki Al-Sheikh Riyadh season, their mission was to bring old-time boxing back, where the best box the best, creating modern legacies, creating modern eras, and that was always his dream, you know, to do that, and I think that he's successful in doing that right now. I mean, look, guys, go back to February the 22nd, yeah? You look down the card, right, when would you have ever seen Joshua Buatsi versus Callum Smith, WBO interim world title fight at the bottom of the bill? I mean, come on, man, that's insane. That would fill any state, any arena in this country. Yeah. That is a top-class fight. That is the magnitude of this card that we've got. Beterbiev and Bivol 2 is the 2 best. That is the best pound-for-pound fight in the world today. Daniel Dubois versus Joseph Parker. Wow, 50-50, man. I mean, that is an incredible card.
Well, just on that, on the Dubois-Parker scenario, and this is the thing that has really reinforced my faith in what Riyadh season Turki Al-Sheikh is doing in boxing. I want boxing to be meritocracy. I want people to be able to go out, have 1, 2, 3 fights of a certain level and absolutely earn their opportunity. For years I've been moaning about sanctioning bodies and maybe people getting opportunities when I personally didn't believe that they deserved those opportunities, and the champions aren't necessarily fighting the best guys. If you look at that heavyweight fight, the bar Alexander Usyk, just put him to one side, the 2 in-form heavyweights right now that are doing the business are Daniel Dubois, Joseph Parker. Look at the last 12 to 18 months. It's fantastic that these two are meeting each other. Once upon a time, Adam, sanctioning body politics would have got in the way of this and said, well, he's a WBO interim, so that's not going to happen. We're going to go down this route. But no, Turki Al-Sheikh's come along and he said, well, I'm looking online and the fans all want to see this. So there's the money. Let's go. Let's make the fight.
Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, Oscar De La Hoya, everybody under one umbrella, and the big fights being made. It's a terrific matchup. Daniel Dubois in form, IBF champion, coming off that huge win just over the way against AJ back in September, and Joseph Parker reinvigorated under Andy Lee. Incredible wins over Wilder and Zhang. He really fancies this, Joe. It's a brilliant matchup. It's the best that can be made, you're right, outside of Alexander Usyk. And what I love about what's happening and what Turki Al-Sheikh's doing, he's taken over the Ring magazine, the Bible of boxing. He's bringing everything almost towards one umbrella,
Yeah.
and exactly what you want. There's a big man in the house tonight. He's called Martin Bakole,
Yeah.
and he's been waiting for his opportunity for a long, long time. He took it out in LA, beating Jared Anderson, and now he's got one more fight in May, and he will fight for the world title. That is what is happening, and it's terrific to see for fight fans and for the fighters.
Okay, so this is one for you based on what we've just been talking about there, because we know that Bakole's taking on a Jagba, all right? And they've classed that as an IBF eliminator, haven't they, for the championship belt? Does the winner of Dubois Parker fight Usyk, or does the winner of Bakole and a Jagba fight Usyk, or do they fight for the world title? How does that all play out?
Well, it's a final eliminator, isn't it? A Jagba versus Bakole, so rightfully he should get that shot next. I don't think that will happen. I think the winner of Parker versus Dubois would possibly fight Alexander Usyk. But here's one, right?
But that's what I like, because that makes the most amounts of sense.
Absolutely. But we know the heavyweight landscape right now, and the fights that should be made, could be made. Anything can happen. Like, we don't know where Alexander Usyk's going. We don't know what Anthony Joshua's doing right now. He's sitting out. He's keeping a close eye on things. He wants to see where that lands. There's talk of Martin Bakole, Anthony Joshua going out to Africa, recreating history with Muhammad Ali and George Foreman. The last time that fight happened in Africa, October 1974, that's, we could be getting that again.
And that's brilliant, Spencer. But Adam rightfully says the casual fans are coming back. So that means it's Fury Joshua. You walk down the streets, they're the two names that people still talk about. Absolutely brilliant if we get that fight this year.
No, absolutely. But with Tyson Fury being retired, being out of the game, there's a bit of action going on in the ring right now. Let me just cross to John Rawling. Everybody was looking in the ring. So, John Rawling, just explain what has happened.
Well, your conversation was fascinating, but what happened up in the ring was extraordinary. It was a cruiserweight contest between Scott Forrest from Edinburgh up against Arel Ignat, a Moldovan who's based now in Wembley and fights out of the Peacock Gym. Forrest had started quite well. He aimed a big shot. He was caught by Ignat. His legs wobbled, and the big man from Wembley, when he saw his opportunity, he just steamed in, rained punches on Forrest, and the referee had to step between them, end the fight, and it was all over in the opening round. What a dramatic contest. We thought it might sort of drag on towards the end of the programme. Not so. Sorry to steal your thunder there, lads, but that was quite good.
No, not at all. Both guys undefeated, 1-7, 1-8. Brilliant matchmaking once again, and as you've just said, the Moldovan, now based in the UK, took his opportunity and got the job done against Scott Forrest. Bit of an upset there for you boys. But as I was just saying, let's get back on heavyweights whilst we were talking about Tyson Fury. Right now, we've got to take his word that he's not in the game no more. Anthony Joshua can't sit there and be waiting, is it happening, is it not happening? So the first question is, you know Anthony Joshua well, Spence, right? Does he class himself still as a top contender that could go on to become world champion again?
Absolutely, and let me tell you where Anthony Joshua's at right now, yeah? He's sitting there waiting to see what's happening with this heavyweight landscape right now, as a lot of the heavyweights in that top, bracket are. Anthony Joshua is willing to go to Africa and recreate history and fight Martin Bakole. People say, oh, that doesn't make commercial sense. He's not about that. He's about legacies and history and fighting the best. He just doesn't care who he fights. Yes, commercially, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, that's the fight we want to see. AJ's back in the ring, by the way, at May/June. You'll see him in the ring May/June. Who that will be...
Okay.
Who that will be, I'm not sure. Will it be Fury?
Well, this is the thing that Adam's just alluding to there, right? The fight is Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury, but right now Tyson Fury's retired, so that's what we've got to work towards. We've just been speaking about Martin Bakole. He's a fantastic fighter, but the body of work that Dubois and Joseph Parker have done, for me, whoever wins that deserves the shot at Alexander Usyk. So we move in that direction.
it's also, Adam, about what Alexander Usyk wants, okay?
Of course.
So he's cleaned up, he's got nothing left to prove. But I was in his camp in Gandia just before the second Fury fight, and he loves training, he loves competing, and loves fighting. So he's going to carry on. It's got to be surely the Dubois rematch for the fans if Dubois gets through Parker. But if he doesn't, what does Usyk do then? Does he fight Parker, or does someone like Jaya Pattaya come out? Moses Itauma, they're talking about fighting for a world title this year. I mean, it's a magic pot.
It is.
Bakole will get his chance.
It is, absolutely. But then with what you've just said, Spencer, about Anthony Joshua, if we're looking for a fight for Anthony Joshua, and he classed himself as a top contender, he has to go through the likes of a Martin Bakole. That's what he's got to do.
Absolutely, and let me give you this. I've just come to me. It's just come to me.
Spence, give it to me now.
So Bakole is fighting for the right to box for the IBF title against the Jaguar out in New York in May. He comes through that fight, now he's the mandatory, right? Alexander Usyk thinks, right, I want to box the winner of Dubois versus Parker. That's the bigger fight for me, that's the better fight. Oops, I've got to let go of that IBF title.
Well, Dubois the IBF.
I've got, I've got to let go of that IBF title, or Dubois got to let go of it. Or, no, I'm saying if he beats Dubois...
Dubois the IBF guy?
Yeah,
So Dubois currently holds the IBF championship. So the mandatories for Dubois, that's what the mandatory would be for.
Absolutely, it'd be for Dubois,
but you all know that unification's top trump all that.
That's what I'm saying, and so if he decides to go that way, and the landscape lies that the IBF does become vacant anyhow, and we could see an IBF world title fight in Africa, Anthony Joshua versus Martin Bakole. What I'm saying is, all these things are possible. I know people will be listening and go, you're absolutely mad, but what I'm saying is, titles do become vacant if other fights get made, and people can't make mandatories, etc., etc. It's just an option, and just anything is possible.
We caught up with Martin Bakole this week, and we asked him who he was going to fight, and we lined up the names, and he said AJ, he beats him in 4 rounds, within 4. He said Dubois, 1 or 2. We asked him about Usyk. He said Usyk's a good fighter, that'll be 6. Okay, he's totally confident he goes in there and knocks them all out. I'd love to see Bakole and Usyk.
Absolutely.
Great fight.
All these this is where we're going. This is the beautiful thing about the landscape of the game, because, again, I keep coming back to this meritocracy thing. I think people should forget the sanctioning bodies. They should go through the fights, the high-level fights. If you're successful in those high-level fights, you should absolutely be next in line for your shot. Right now, the perfect example of that is Dubois and Parker are fighting each other. They're the informed guys. The winner of that absolutely deserves his shot at Alexander Usyk. Whilst all that's cooking over there, brilliant, Bakole takes on a jag, but if he comes through that, brilliant, fight Anthony Joshua. If you beat Anthony Joshua, you're next in line, sunshine. Crack on.
But that's what I'm saying, and I'm saying, so people that are saying, oh, that doesn't commercially make sense for Anthony Joshua, I know Joshua will take that fight. That is a fight that he'd want, and that is the fight that would happen in Africa, which Turki Al-Sheikh has got this burning desire to put a fight on out there.
Can I throw another name into the pot here?
Let's do it.
I'm not sure we want to see him back, but Deontay Wilder is returning, the bronze bomber.
Who'd you put him in with?
He's a massive name. I don't know, AJ maybe? I mean, that's the fight that was going to be made. If you want a fight that's going to be electric, AJ and Wilder definitely is that.
Hold on, guys, I'm going to throw one in here. Well, I'm not going to throw one in here. John Rawling's going to throw one in here.
Go on, John.
He's just whispered in my ear, and this is an absolute classic.
Well, it's not impossible. Ngannou.
Wow. I honestly think Derek's last fight might be Francis Ngannou. I think Francis Ngannou does get involved in this mix as well. How you doing, buddy? Look, they're all here, all causing bother. But the landscape is exciting, the possibilities are exciting, because the money's on the table, we can satisfy egos, we're all getting what we all want to see, and meritocracy seems to be getting rewarded. The big thing is...
Can I just say one thing here? one of the real positives of having the Saudi influence, you know, with somebody like Bakole a few years ago,
yes,
you'd have said no chance because he doesn't bring enough to the table.
Yes.
He's not going to be a big ticket seller in Las Vegas or at Wembley Stadium or whatever. So therefore, he'd be one of those who Mickey Duff used to say is the president of the who needs him brigade.
Yeah.
But now the landscape has changed and he can get his chance, and that's good.
Here's what we need. One, we need Fury to come back. He needs to fight AJ. Park that. That's done. Stick it over there. Don't forget, Big Bang Zhang's taking on Caballel. We haven't even mentioned them two, have we?
Can't believe it.
Right? Let them two do what they need to do. The winner of that can fight Bakole or a Jagba. The winner of that then gets an opportunity at the top shop.
Is anyone still with us, do you think, out there in this heavyweight conundrum?
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.